Well, Antarctica is the only place on Earth that we're not allowed to explore, and the government refuses to tell us why. In this video, we're going to be talking about all the reasons why I feel like Antarctica is just a huge cover-up. All of this to make sense, we have to go back to the beginning, the 1900s, when Richard E. Byrd, Admiral Bird, who was a very well-known aviator in the early 1900s, decided that he wanted to brave the trip and go fly to the South Pole, a place where a lot of people refused to go because of how Arctic it was, because of how unknown it was. So when he got there, and this is according to his journal, which is now unreliable because there are so many dupes out there, he apparently flew into a hole in the South Pole. Yes, you heard me, into it. And on the other end, he said he found lush green land and rainbow cities. I know this sounds insane, but it's all going to come together in the end of the video. How in the world can you fly into a hole in the ice? Y'all, do you know that they have been finding holes in the ice for literally like decades? And the government has tried so hard to cover it up, to the point where a pilot that would fly scientists in and out of Antarctica honestly said that they are trying to cover up so much when it comes to that place. If at this point you're not convinced that it's a giant cover-up, let's talk about how Admiral Bird went and found his finding, came back and told the entire world. He was doing interviews, he was writing things, articles, you name it. He was telling everyone that would listen what he found in Antarctica. Not too long after that, he died from natural causes. And y'all know exactly what that means. Now at this point, in 1957, NASA is made. In my opinion, NASA was just a shiny new thing to keep everybody distracted. And also, in my opinion, space is in the ocean, which is why allegedly NASA started exploring the ocean but stopped, a lot of people say, because they found things that they never expected to see, and they found things that they never wanted us to know. Hence the reason why they would start exploring space at that point. Tell me it's a coincidence that in 1957 NASA is made, but then in 1958 every single nation, every single entity came together to sign the Antarctica Treaty, which is prohibiting self-exploration of some parts of Antarctica. So you're telling me all of the nations can come together to sign this treaty, prohibit us from going to explore what they say is just ice, right? But you can't come together to stop world hunger, you can't come together to stop some war. Something isn't right. And why in the world did I hear that the Rothschild, one of the most infamous and rich families on Earth, has an island there? Literally, it's like, what, 5,000 people is the population of Antarctica? Most of them are scientists. What exactly could you be studying so much over there that you don't want anyone else to know about it? You guys already know that I feel like they hide everything in plain sight. I just find it weird that in Game of Thrones, and honestly it's a staple in a lot of other shows and movies, that there is a big ice wall. So you can't tell me it's a coincidence that the operation that Admiral Bird hosted to go explore Antarctica was called Operation High Jump. What if he was going over the ice wall to investigate? What if he knew too much or was going to know too much? They couldn't risk him telling the public everything there is to know. Now, if you acknowledge that there's an ice wall, the next question is, what's behind it? Now, there are two theories, guys. One theory is that there is the Behemoth behind there. Now, if you know anything about the Bible, you know that there is a colossal land creature called the Behemoth and the colossal sea creature called the Leviathan, that according to Jewish apocalyptic texts is supposed to spar. The two of them are supposed to spar in the end time, and at that point they would be intercepted by the Ziz, which is a huge colossal bird. That's for another video. Now, with the ocean being so vast and so crazy, it would honestly make a lot of sense that the Leviathan could hide in the water. But everyone always asks, okay, if the Leviathan and the Behemoth are real, where would the Behemoth hide? Surely we would see that, right? What if it's behind the ice wall? What if that's why there's lush green land there, because that's where they're keeping it, hiding it from everyone, maybe trying to use it as a weapon of war? Again, hidden in plain sight, what is Godzilla and King Kong? A colossal land creature and a colossal sea creature. If they're just trying to desensitize us to the fact that that's the truth. Okay, that's one theory. Now, the other theory is that there are actually giants behind the ice wall, and they are actually what's called Gog and Magog in the Bible, and in the Quran, Yajuj and Majuj is basically a people that are hidden somewhere in the mountains or somewhere remote that are going to also come out in the end times and terrorize the people of God. A lot of people say that Magog and Majuj are giants, and Gog and Yajuj is the leader. And it would make sense because if you know anything about the Nephilim DNA, a lot of people say that the elites / the government are looking for the Nephilim DNA so that they can make giants themselves, recreate them, and use them as weapons of war. And the theory goes that 9/11 was actually an inside job so that they could retaliate and go into Iraq and search for the body of Gilgamesh. Now, Gilgamesh was a known giant, and they say that they're trying to harvest that DNA so that they can use it further. I just find it funny that in 2003, the same year that they said they went to retaliate like for 9/11, that's the same year that they found the tomb of Gilgamesh. Coincidence? I think not. To top it all off, honestly, Antarctica is crazy for a multitude of reasons. Even scientifically, there's a lake called Lake Vostok where they have found, first of all, it turns blood red randomly. That's creepy enough. They have also found rivers under the river, like prehistoric rivers, that have over 2,503 new organisms, and 94% of them match nothing that is here on Earth, human or otherwise. So quite literally, Antarctica is a cesspool of unknown things. Y'all, I don't want to make this video too long, but as always, make sure you like and follow. Comment down below if we should dive deeper into this subject.